What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It's his I, James, and Courtney. RedemptionAgency.com. 22 years selling full-time on eBay. I didn't even notice we're officially into full 22 years, aren't we? I don't remember the exact date. Let me see if it'll tell me. August 26th. Okay, so technically not yet. But close. But close. All right, so what's going on? Yesterday was a complete opposite day of the day before. Wow. We'll get into that. I got another Posh order. There was a topic. There's kind of one topic there. A little bit. And there was something else. No, I forgot. Bummer. The negative feedback's been crazy lately. Like I had 6 in the past 30 days. And I was able to get one removed. Finally, I called in and finally got somebody who removed it. It was leaving a positive statement as a negative. So I've tried twice to get it removed and got no's. And then I finally got somebody who removed it. So never give up. So he finally removed it. And then I got this other one. And I guess I didn't pay attention. Oh, man. So he got this cassette. And he says it's poor quality, left a negative, poor quality, blah, blah, without reaching out to me. I go, oh, no problem. Just open a return, and I'll just refund you. No big deal. And then I know the negative would go away. Well, he opened up what I thought was a return because I wasn't paying attention. I went ahead and refunded him, and the negative never came off. So when I called, I was like, why didn't this negative come off? He goes, it's an item not received case. I'm like, what? So I went back. He opened up an item not received case instead of a return. The item was delivered. He said it was delivered. So I tried to use that. I'm like, oh, man, I messed up. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, you can see it was delivered. Can you get rid of it? He wouldn't get rid of it, the negative. So I got stuck with a negative that would have been otherwise taken off because I didn't pay attention. So that kind of stunk. And then another one, a guy left a negative. And it was like, it wasn't what I expected it to be. And of course, they wouldn't remove that negative. I tried. I go, well, I didn't do nothing wrong here. And I had already reached out to him, but he didn't respond. So he finally responded back and opened up a return. So I just sent him a refund. It was just that, I don't know if you remember that little bitty piece of paper that's sent out about a week and a half ago. Fisherman's something, a little cookbook, had a recipe on it or something. So I just sent him a refund. So that negative went away. And now I've got this one where apparently one of those, the baby blender thing, apparently it started smelling like smoke and overheated. So she left a negative. So I reached out to her twice saying, open up a return and I'll just refund you. No big deal. Keep the item, blah, blah, blah. Never responded. Then she sent me a separate email through messages, through eBay, saying I would like a refund for this. I responded back, I've tried to contact you twice, saying open up a free return, gave her the whole dispute again, and she disappeared again and still hasn't opened up a return so I could get rid of that feedback. So I don't know what the hell's going on with her there. But, yeah, so I've got 4 negatives right now. With one, I'm trying to get taken off if she would open. I wish there's 2 things I wish they would change about the feedback system. One, you have to contact the buyer before you can leave a negative. Boom. That would eliminate a whole lot of headache. Because you could just say, oh, no problem, open up a free return, and I have free returns, blah, blah, blah. Elimination. 2 would be, you get marked as a positive after, say, 90 days. If they haven't left feedback, it goes on as a positive. Then you would have real-time feedback numbers. You would because only about a third of the buyers leave feedback. So your feedback would go way up if that happened. And who knows, maybe it still could eventually. I remember when they changed it back in the day and the numbers changed drastically. They started, I guess, counting. If somebody bought 3 or 4 items, it started counting them or something like that, or started showing in the numbers or something like that. And then the numbers, feedback numbers, positives jumped way up. So it would be nice. I am running for president of eBay, and I'm running on the platform of changing the feedback and implementing those 2 systems into the feedback system. If that happened, I'd be sitting at 100% at all times because of the percentage plan. So anyway, yeah, yesterday sale-wise was totally opposite of the day before. So the day before was a little over $1,000. Yesterday, didn't even make it to $500, $491.40. Let's see, traffic-wise. 31 items sold. Get this, 5 organic. That is where a problem is lying. Somehow, some way. 5 organic with 51,000 items. And I even turned off my promotions for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Nothing was happening. When I made the video, it was 4 o'clock-ish. I had $230, if I remember correctly. So since I didn't get no reaction from changing the percentage, after that video, I decided to, I got a hair growing out of my ear. That's a sign you're getting old, ain't it? It's still there. I missed it. So I turned off my promotions. I think it was like 6 o'clock. No, maybe it was 5. I don't remember. Anyway, I turned off the promotions. Got like 2 sales in 8 minutes. Boom, boom. As soon as I turned it off. I'm like, all right, maybe there's something here again. An hour goes by, nothing. Hour and a half goes by, nothing. I'm like, all right, let's turn the promoted back on and see what happens. So I guess I had about maybe 260 come, let's just say 7 o'clock. So I did the difference, $490. So $230, and those remaining 3, 4, 5, 7 hours. So, but even though I was a little bit under where I like to be bottom line wise, at least with that first number, I think I made my low end net profit. My low end net profit. No, I didn't. No, not even close. It has to be like 291. I was 237 net profit. 45.8% selling cost. So, nope, did not make it. But the Giro pack paid me again yesterday, so that kind of made up for it. That was another, I think, $75. So that kind of evens me out if I throw in the Giro pack money with it. And if you don't know, Giro pack, the affiliate link is below. If you need some bubble mailers or poly bags, save 10% if you use my link and use Urban Picker as the checkout. 10% off. Thank you guys to the people who bought yesterday for me. That was awesome. Still not quite almost paid for, but getting close. So that's cool. So yeah, I didn't make it there. But the day before, since it was a $1,000 day, my net profit that went into my account was $634. So I done 2 days plus a little bit. So technically I'm ahead by a day. Now, if I can get those results every day like I should, that would be awesome. Awesome. But at least since I've turned off my sales, turned down the promotions, and then kind of played with it yesterday. I'm feeling more confident, like there's a little bit of control back, right? Now, whether that's like more stability on the site, I don't know, but I think it's just because my items are selling at a higher price. I was just so undervaluing my stuff. I mean, I get so much hate out there about people saying, oh, it's because you don't sell stuff people want. But yet, if you look at my numbers now compared to where they were when I had sales running and all that, I was kind of undervaluing my stuff. But I was doing it because of value. So I could sell 70, 75, 80, 100 items a day and just move the product so it doesn't sit as long. I mean, doing it at a higher price, I'm getting higher price for my items per item, but I'm giving a lot of stuff that's just sitting that if it was on sale would be moving. So trying to find that fine line balance, like, okay, what do I do? You know, do I go back to things that have been sitting for X amount of time, put them in their own store category and run a sale just on those items? So that might be something I go back to. I used to do that. I had a clearance section in my store. And after like 3 years, I'd put them into that clearance section and I would just drastically slash the prices, put them on sale just to move the product. So I might go back to that format. So then I can get kind of the best of both worlds. So it's something to play with in the future. Got another offer at least too, so that's good. But this morning's looking good so far. We're at 10:30 a.m. $10:30 a.m. I am at $233. So not bad. Let's look at the... Oh, that page ain't working properly. And it's 12 items sold, 10 promoted, 2 organic. It's always good to see that nice little pop there. Let me go into my today's sales and keep an eye on the numbers today. So without shipping right now, I'm at 23% selling costs. So now we'll ship these and see what number we pop up to. Hopefully we stay under 50%. That is the goal. And then I think that's it for that. I was still getting errors yesterday with offers. There was more offers overnight than there have been previously, so it may have been a shutdown between... I had 4 hours, only like 4 hours with no activity, so it wasn't too bad, between 12 and 4 my time, so it wasn't too bad. Nothing to like raise a red flag at. It looked like maybe something was happening, but like I said, it's hard to tell now that I'm not playing the video game. The volume game is kind of hard to get I can't go 100% on my statements anymore as I did before, saying, oh, I know there was a shutdown for 4 hours. That could have just been a lull time since I'm not playing the volume game. So that's what's changed, but at least I'm getting more money per item, which is a good thing. And moving stuff on Poshmark daily. I think I'm at... See, the number over there that I'm reading includes the sold items too. So I think I'm getting ready to hit 900 items over there, including what has sold. So, so I do a little bit of that every day. Clear the throat. Let me clear my throat. All right, questions and comments on the old YouTube, and then we get into shipping these items out. Comments and questions. Here we go. But yeah, another poke here. Using Vendoo to cross over to Poshmark Still loving it, especially with the auto delist. I do have the affiliate link below if you want to use it, 25% off your first month. They do have a 5-item free, so you can kind of get used to it, play with it. And then, like I said before, if you do decide to do it, what I would suggest, especially if you have, like, say, 2,000 items, pick the level that's going to get all your 2,000 items into Poshmark first. Get the 25% off that, and then downgrade, because you don't have to pay. It's how many items you move over, not how many items you list per month from Vendoo or whatever. So if you only list, say, 100 items per month, after you move your original 2,000 over or whatever, you can downgrade your subscription to a cheaper platform thing, and just, move your new items over as you list them on eBay, and then it takes a second to list them on Posh. I do have the video if you scroll my page on listing with Vendoo, so it's pretty easy. Still loving it so far. So I think I'm about broke even with my sale, the items I've sold over there, compared to what I'm paying per month on Vendoo. So, and I'm only maybe 2 weeks in, so that's good. So just got to keep plowing, putting items over, so I can keep getting sales. All right, let's see here. Questions and comments. James, when you list 100 plus items a day, do you just use your own template and then comp based on your years of experience, or do you actually search the items listed for comps? I search for comps, unless it's like just a hat. Normal hats and t-shirts I put up at a set price, $14.99, unless it looks like a hat that might go for more from what I know knowledge-wise. Like a polo hat, I'll put up for $19.99. If it feels like quality and a name I don't know, I'll look it up. But other than that, or if it's like a sports one that is in nice condition or is of like a name, Sports Specialties or something, I will either look those up or price them higher, from what I know. So, but the templates, look at my video, how to list 200 items in one day, and that shows you how to make the templates and what I do with my templates. So, I have several templates for all different stuff that I list. Next up, these server issues must be affecting eBay's bottom line. How much money do you need to lose before they take the issues seriously? Yes, that's where you can see the last earnings that came out. They were down, except for what they're charging us for promoted items. So you can tell they're already on the downward trend. I do believe the next one's going to be even worse, because not only that's going to be down, I think the promoted is going to be down also, because they're going to hit a plateau unless they find another way to start charging us something else. Whether that's charging us for now you got to pay for the Google search, or some crap like that. And I got a feeling they may just find another way. I mean, I've jumped on board with the fee-bay term now for a reason. So, and it's all stemming behind the CEO that's running the place now. But I do believe the next earnings is going to be the benchmark on where the company is going to be going. Also, I do have another theory that maybe the stockholders and all that were told, hey, we're going to have a rough patch between 2018 and 2024 because we are changing out the servers. We're making all these changes, blah, blah, blah. So expect to lose some money, but stay around for the long-term effect. Now, if they did that and gave the stockholders a heads up, but would you technically do that? Because then they might sell off then. So it's one of those things that maybe, they brought up that news after the first downfall. Maybe they just brought that up in the last earnings report with their stockholders. Hey, stay with us for the long term. We've been in this transition phase, and we're going to come out smelling like roses in the end, type of thing. I don't know. But I do feel that if that's not the case, the next quarterly earnings is going to, I think, be the benchmark to, it's going to basically set in stone what the past 2 years have been like for us sellers. Because they have, like I said, they have other ways of getting the income with the promoted and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be curious to see the next earnings. Today was definitely off. After 10 good days for me, I knew it would be like this. Keep cross-listing. The other sites will eventually fill the void. Yeah. And that's what I put it off for as long as I could. I mean, I literally only wanted to stay with eBay just because when I was doing the volume game and eBay's working, I didn't have time to do the cross-listing. They made me have time to do the cross-listing. They made me make time to do the cross-listing. So during the day, like when I list 10 hats, I will go and then transfer them to Vendoo. Let them sit there. List more on eBay, transfer that stuff to Vendoo. List more on eBay, transfer that stuff to Vendoo. And then about an hour a night, I'll sit down at the desk and take what I put in Vendoo that day and put it all up on Poshmark. So, and then I'll eventually get around to Macari and stuff too, probably. So, James, why free returns? Do you send the customer a return label or tell them to keep it? Why free returns? Well, I kind of gave that example at the beginning. The negative feedback is the main thing. It's basically paying to keep negative feedback off your thing. eBay does send them a label that you do pay for. Whether I make them send it back or I just refund them depends on the item and or the customer and their feedback. Because a lot of times people will try to scam you just because they know the system and all they want you to do is send a refund so they can keep the item. Like right now, I sent the Metallica album out that sold. Oh, it's got a little ding on the end. Okay, send it back. Free returns, blah, blah, blah. Of course, he sends an email. Well, will you just give me $8 back and I'll keep it? So, no, send it back. I can resell it. If it's a cassette and they're saying it's poor quality and they say they have 300 plus feedback, then chances are I'm just going to refund the money. Chances are they're telling the truth. I don't check my items, but I guarantee them. And it's pointless to send a cassette back because it could be low quality or, whatever. It's a cassette. So on cassettes like that, I'll do that. Unless it's a higher dollar cassette, I'll be like, well, send it back. Because if it's a high dollar item, normally high dollar items, I'm like, send it back. And then I would say probably a good 30 to 40% who say there's a problem on a high dollar item, after you tell them to send it back, they just vanish. So it's almost like either A, they don't want to deal with it, or B, they're trying to scam you. So yeah, that's how I kind of deal with the return thing. Just kind of use my gut too with the wording that the people put it in, You can kind of tell, if they come at you attacking you, a lot of the times they're just trying to intimidate you to get you to return it when there's no problem. And if they even kind of mention the feedback they're going to leave, I automatically say, open up a return. Or open up a free return and I make them return it. So, just an observation, I looked at your store and went through about 50 or so random listings of yours and searched the basic title. Not exactly, but just what the item is and even worded them differently. Your listings pop up at the top and within the first 3, but your price are the same as market or a little higher, and your feedback isn't 100% and quality is lacking. So let's see. I've been running 99.8% for 22 years, but because my feedback isn't 100%, my quality is lacking. Come on now. Don't be that person. I'm not even going to read further on. I'm not even going to be. You're already one of those people who's. You're looking at 0.2% over 99.8. I don't mess with those people. Alrighty then. 99.8%, that's bad feedback. When people email me that, I go, so you're telling me the whole time you're in school, from kindergarten through 12th grade, and if you went to college, you wouldn't accept a 99.8% on all your classes every year for all those years? And then they just shut up. I'm like, yeah, go away. This person says, I have been getting duplicated listings. My gosh, will it ever get better? I've heard people having that issue. I personally, thankfully, have not had that issue. Next up, 2 items sold in 8 days. Been listing a lot of items. Keep listing. Or start cross-listing also. I'm pushing that one also now. So it's making up a little bit of a difference for me. So here and there as I'm going. So, and if you got more poshy type of stuff, then it's going to work better for you, i.e. like women's clothing and stuff. So. James, listen to this album when you list next time. Great album, Queensryche Empire. Oh, who doesn't know Queensryche? I was buying Queensryche albums back at Target on cassette when I wanna get close to you, so close to you. Love that album. I was Queensryche before Empire and before Operation Mindcrime. And they are all Queensryche albums are in my playlist. So I've been getting double emails as well. Yes, I got more double emails this morning on the sold items. And I actually got them on the offers today too. I've usually been getting double emails on when an item sells, but now I'm getting double emails on offer also. So I got that one this morning also. I'm down about 70% from where I averaged today. Very slow, handful of offers, handful of sales, very low activity. James typo, Santa Rosa Beach, California. I'm not sure what I typo, but I make a lot of typo mistakes. I don't know what I messed up there, but I'm sure I messed up something. That is a commonplace thing. I've been catching them too when I pull them over to Posh. I'm like, why did I? And I have to change the spelling, then go back and revise my listing. So, yeah, I make typos a lot. My Boring Reseller Life is my favorite reselling channel. Thank you for being real. I'm going to be real until I'm dead. Still real. Thank you. Thank you. Only 2 sales today. Both haven't paid yet. Used your link for an order. The order last night. Cha-ching! Giro pack. Save 10%. Use Urban Picker on your checkout. The guy doing Giro pack is like totally floored with the response that he's getting with my account, with my code. So that's over $2,000 worth of orders he's got affiliated with me and you guys and this channel. So that's pretty cool. It's beyond doing everything and no sales for 4 days. It's like you don't exist. So frustrating. Yeah, I think I kind of learned that if you're using like below, so far I'm saying if you're using below 9% and you don't have 20,000 items up, you're going to see something. You're going to see nothing, I should say. You're going to see a huge change in what's going on right now. And I do still feel, compared to Monday, compared to yesterday, a lot of it has to do with the website problems. I feel if it wasn't for the website problems, we could figure out how to get more sales. But when you're working with a shaky foundation, it's hard to figure it out because the rules change every day, depending on what error, what problem's going on, what server's failing today, whatever the case may be. And it's hard to get a grip on what to do properly. And that was the biggest reason I just said, screw it, turned off my sales and trying to get full value for my items. So far, thankfully, it's worked for the most part. I think I've had 2 days out of a week and a half that I haven't made my bottom line goal. But now I've got the Poshmark money coming in to help kind of offset those days a little bit to get them either to the goal or closer to the goal. So those are the changes I've made, and thus far I am happy with it. Running no sales, lower percentage, and cross-listing. And lower percentage for me probably may still be high for you, running like 9%. So I waited as long as I could, had to make changes. And so far I'm glad I've made those changes. I'm not regretting those changes at all. Because even if I have a day like Monday, where boom, everything seems to come back, I had 4 or 5 sales on Poshmark in about 24-hour period, Sunday through Monday. So that was just added to the Monday total. So just going to be little bonuses on top here and there. So Josh says, yep, I'm totally dead today. Barely any sales coming through. And Josh was I heard on his live stream that he was having good days of like $1,000 a day, $700 a day, $800 a day. And then boom, nothing turned off for him again. So, same crap happening in Australia for eBay, at least for me anyway. 2 days of 0 sales. Previous week was awesome. Now crickets, and my photos look terrible for some reason. I retook my photos for yesterday's listings and still terrible when viewed on eBay. They're messing with more stuff, I reckon. So frustrating. I have noticed some of the pictures disappearing, and then they'll come back eventually. So it does appear like something's going on with the picture. That's been going on for about a week now in the picture world, because I'll have pictures that vanish and then come back later. And then I know people have talked about problems with the picture won't enlarge and stuff like that. So there's definitely something going on in the picture world. I know that 100%. What it is, I do not know. All right, let's get to shipping some stuff. Let's get these orders done. And I got a suggestion, which I'll try today, on adding to my new process. Instead of writing what the item is on the package, write the person's name. So I will try that today. I just hope I don't have like 2 CDs that Mark ordered, which does happen. So maybe I'll put the name and or a couple first digits of the zip code, maybe. Or maybe I'll put the name with a capital with the first letter of the last name. Maybe I'll do that. Because I will have duplicate names on stuff. I know that for a fact. So I want to avoid that. So let's see. I got 17 here, but that last one is not pooled yet, so that just sold. They bought it yesterday, and then it canceled. I'm guessing they had a bad address. So then they rebought it this morning. All right, so purchase shipping labels. We'll pull out the... See how many international we got to turn off here. Got 1 international, 2 international, 3 international. So 3 internationals. One of them is an item I'm going to kind of talk about on how I always run. how I've looked at my business for the past 8 years. So remove those. All right. Let me open up a separate page so I can know what the stuff sold for. So first up, we've got a, are you ready for a CD line? Yeah. More promo CDs I've been putting up. X Factor CD. So we got 4 different X Factor CDs, which is a promo CD, I guess, given out with something. I'm not sure what X Factor was. If it was a magazine or whatever. Janet Jackson, Mary J. Blige, Donna, Depeche Mode, Stevie Nicks, Britney Spears, Macy Gray. So we got 4 CDs here. I sold for $33. What's up, baby girl? Two of these. And use resurfacing. So this one will stay open anyway. Move this stuff around. Get it out of my way. Silver Sharpies. All right, so we got 0, 13, 9 by 12 by 3 should be fine. And the name is Wilberto. I like that name. Roberto. Okay. Next up, we've got some new age. Carlos, I always forget how to say his last name. Nakia. So guitar, harp. It's a Native American flute music. We used to sell a lot of his stuff when I worked at the music store. But we got the cassette tape that sold for $10. Ooh, black for Halloween. Off my finger. Okay, that's Arthur. Yeah, silver works well. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's the result I was looking for. All right, ground cheaper. Nope. That's going to Fresno. Going to Fresno. Next up, we've got, this was just put up the other day, St. Louis Cardinals hat. This one sold for $12.75. Headed to Santa Marta, California. Santa Marta. Okay, we got 7. That's all right. Boom, easy enough. Brian K. Next up, we've got the Universal Sampler CD, Hearts of Space, and that sold for $6. Headed to Mission, Texas. Texas. Matilda. We got some unique names going on today. I'm sure there's only going to be one Matilda in this order. Next up, we've got Devotion. And headed to Knoxville, Tennessee. This hat sold for $15. $15. Getting full value out of my hats make me happy. $15. Make you holler, 'cause I'm a cheap whore. I'm a cheap whore. $15, I make you holler, 'cause I'm a cheap whore. I'm a cheap whore. Alright, that is 7, 8 by 6 by 4. Austin B. Austin B. Next up, we've got Truth About Smoking hat. Big Tobacco. And that's sold for $10. Headed to Dunham, North Carolina. $10. And I'd rather get an offer for $10 than 7 or 8. And I've been definitely getting more offers. My offers have been higher too with my prices higher. So every once in a while I'll still get the $7, $6 one, and I'll take it. But the fact that I got more coming in at a higher dollar is definitely a plus. Let's go on to Brandon O. Brandon O. Next up, we got an 8-track. James McCarthy, Greatest Songs of Christmas. On 8-track, headed to Cocoa, Florida. Sold for $5. $5. And Thomas L. Thomas L. Medium male, 4. And I'll check ground, which is cheaper. Second stack there. Next up, Veterans for Peace hat. Headed to Cleveland, Ohio. Sold for $15. $15. And Thomas F. See, there's already 2 Thomases. Of course, different items, but still 2 Thomas right in a row. Hello? Hello? Why do the spam things call you, but they don't? They just hang up on you. Why? Can't even play with them when they don't hang up. When they hang up on you. Dag nabbit. Can't play the spam game. Alright. Next up we got Janetti M standard CD. Boom. Headed to Somerset, New Jersey. Sold for $6. Cha-ching. Give me sales, thank you. Give me sales, thank you. I think the people who try to put down my items saying I just don't have what people want, I think I intimidate them. You know why? Because maybe I know a little bit more than they do. Who else is going to sell you a Veterans for Peace hat, you know? Or, a devotion hat? Maybe they're just intimidated, and that's why they say it. The fact that I can sell this stuff and they wouldn't even touch it, but yet I make good money on it. Todd M. I'm just stroking my own little ego here right now for a moment. I don't do that quite often, especially in the past 7 years or so. So I may start doing that a little bit more often as I'm building myself back up. So inflating myself a little bit, but try to stay grounded. As I'm trying to get, that's the thing about, and I don't mean egotistical in a way, just more confidence, or just, if you will, because, let's see, ground cheaper, yes. That's the biggest thing that I've been lacking lately, just because I've been so dedicated over the past X amount of years with taking care of other people other than myself. And so not only is and then dealing with the eBay issues on top of it, it really takes a lot out of you mentally. Not just the hard work, but the self-doubt on yourself. Trying to take care of others and then seeing them die. And then with the eBay issues, you start questioning yourself. You're like, man, I must really suck. I suck now. Even though I've been doing this 22 years, I all of a sudden suck now. And so, at least for me, really started the last, I could say easily 7 years, have just been a total switch of who I was. And I don't think it was a bad thing necessarily, because I was able to care for my dad, care for Vern, care for Jan when she needed it. But now that I'm trying to get my head back on straight so I can worry about myself, and I've been trying to, the one thing that's the worst when you don't care for yourself or you don't have confidence in yourself is gaining weight, feeling depressed and all that stuff. So I am trying to leave all that behind and put my head back where it was 20 years ago. When I was, actually, let's go further than that. Because 20 years ago, I was still starting the business. Let's go 30 years ago. When I was trying to figure out my way, but I still had confidence that I was going to do it one way or another. I was going to figure something out. Didn't know what it was, but I was going to figure something out, and nobody was going to stand in my way. And, I was kicking ass and taking names, even though it may not have been anything of great nature, if you will, of big importance. I was still standing up for me, doing me, and being real to me about who I was. So I'm trying to get that mindset back, because once that mindset comes back, everything else comes easy for me. I'll lose this 20 pounds in no time. I will eat better easily. I will start getting back out and exercising more, because I'm back doing what is me. And I've been trying to get there. I've seen little bursts of it in the past, say 3-4 months, but it just hasn't come back yet. And I'm not trying to rush it or anything. So that's why I'll still stand here and not feel guilty that I didn't go bike riding yesterday, because I know mentally I'm not there yet. So every little thing I do every day now from this day on, from a couple months ago on, is just slowly building all that back. And so you may hear little crappy lines out of me like, they're just intimidated by me or something like that. Something I wouldn't normally necessarily say before, but I'm doing that just because I'm trying to look at things in a different perspective. And maybe it is true. There could be a small inkling of truth there. So we got some kids' Adidas soccer shoes headed to New York. Sold for $14. But, and a lot of it, I'll say in playful terms, more than being dead serious or egotistical about it. Like, yeah, maybe they're just intimidated by me because they wouldn't think of selling this item. You know, more of a shot back. I think that's more of what it is. It's more of a shot back as opposed to like an ego thing. It's more of, you want to take a shot at me? Here comes a shot right back. You want to say it's because of the items I sell? Well, maybe you're just a little intimidated and jealous that you didn't think of selling this before I did, type of thing, right? So it's more about that than ego. But it's that's who I've always been my whole life, is just a smart ass. And if you come after me, I'm coming after you times 2, type of thing. That's, like I said, that's how I had to get out of my situation growing up. You can't not falter to what is around you. You cannot fall into that crowd. Those people are what they were doing, or you were just going to get stuck there like they did. You had to forge your own path. And part of that is standing up for yourself and doing it in a way where they all learn not to do it anymore, type of thing. I used to get a lot growing up, and I gave that persona out because, so I wouldn't get messed with, is don't mess with that. He's crazy. Don't mess with that white boy. He's crazy. You have to get that persona out there in a situation that I was in, just so that people will be like, hey, don't mess with that dude. Let him do him. Let him go. Let him do what he does, type of thing. And I don't know, it might be hard to understand if you didn't grow up in that kind of a situation or that kind of environment. But, like, even at a time where I was even smaller and being picked on, people learned real quick that if they're picking on me and I start crying, don't tease me because I'm crying. You better step back because emotions are getting ready to come out. And they learned really quick that if I start crying, you need to watch out. You don't sit there and keep poking fun. So that was kind of always, I always kind of set my boundaries, if you will. Don't cross this. You cross this, you're not going to like what's coming at you. So I got to get that old feel back, and not in a mischievous or vindictive way or anything like that, but just more of a slapstick, smartass way, if that makes sense. I'm figuring me out again. I'm giving myself time again. Whoops, forgot to put in the size there. And it feels good. I mean, I'm starting to, every day I get a little bit closer to feeling like me again. Like, I'll just catch myself listing and just be like dancing to my music at my desk and be like, and not caring. Like, I even had to turn that off when my dad was here because he would always make fun of me. And I'm just like, just to just to avoid being laughed at or made fun of by my dad, I turned a lot of my nuances, not the right word, something like my little spur of the moment things I do, I turned a lot of them off. I suppressed them. And that was suppressing myself. And trying to get all that back out now where it's just second nature again. So when I start doing something, or even just, it turned it off so bad that even when I interacted with people, it was uncomfortable. Where when I'm not in that mood, and I can tell it within the past several weeks going to yard sales and thrift stores, and when I'm interacting with people, I am back in the joking mood. I'm back in the making jokes mood, and the whole just conversation, where before I avoided that because I was suppressing myself. And so finding that me again has just been awesome. And then when I had, like yesterday, feeling that little, and I just kind of will note it out of the side of my head that I'll catch myself doing something that I would have done before or would have suppressed before when my dad was here. So it feels good getting back that way. Next up, we got Andy Williams' Christmas Show DVD. I believe that was a Found on Friday item. Headed to Maine. Sold for $12.60. So you may get some more smart-ass remarks or responses to certain things, or even maybe just a more confident way of looking at things that you'll start noticing coming out of me if you haven't already. And that's just me getting back to who I am. So, and like I said, I'm not putting any timetables on anything. I'm not rushing anything. I'm just letting it come naturally. Because if you force it, it's not real. So I'm just trying to let it come naturally. And then what comes back will be the real me of today. You know, the stuff that I learned from that you shouldn't do 30 years ago, that stuff won't come back because I know you don't do that kind of stuff. Especially with like even words you can't say now, where you could say 30 years ago, but if you say them today, you know, you get attacked, even though they're not meant in that way, because they had a different meaning back then. Everything wasn't a universal meaning, you know, where everybody today acts like everything's a universal meaning. Everybody has to think the same way. Where back in the day, if somebody used a certain word a certain way, it meant something totally different than another person using it in another way. Where today is, if you use that word at all, you're just a bad person, you know. So stuff like that won't come back, but because, you know, change with the times type of thing. But, and not meaning the N word or anything like that, but just certain 80s words that, you know, you can't use today that you could use then. Alrighty. 2 cents cheaper on ground. And that's Donald J. This is already drying up by leaving it open like that. Really? Guess I'm talking too much. Alright, next up we've got Team Player hat. Headed to Minnesota, sold for $10. Let me get this stuff shipped. I've been talking too much. So yeah, before I would have checked myself on saying something like, maybe they're just jealous that they didn't think of selling a hat that just says Team Player on it. They're just jealous. Where I would have checked myself before, where now I'll just say that little smart comment because they came at me first type of thing. Okay, let me let that one regain itself. This is Jason D. this Nike hat. Headed to Massachusetts. Sold for $6. Like this is one I got this morning. Offer for $6, and I went ahead and took it. Still getting an offer here and there for like $6-ish, and I'll take it. And all set there. Take that down to 6. And that is, I don't even know how to say this name. Prene? Something like that. Alright, so that is all the US stuff on eBay. And looks good. Confirm and pay. This thing seems like it takes longer and longer every day. Print labels. All right. Now, Prene G. This does look a little quicker, huh? Jason D. I like it. Thank you for that little simple tip. Donald J. Lizzo. Lizzo. That's funny. It's funny because it's a joke, you see. Her name is not Lizzo, it's Lizzo. Todd M. Thomas F. Oh yeah, a lot quicker. Thank you much. Thomas L. Thank you for that tip. So simple. I probably would have eventually got there, but you got me there a lot quicker, so thank you. Brandon O. Got me there a lot quicker because I wasn't clogged down thinking about something. I just tried it. Austin B. I like it. I like it when it's easy. Matilda S. Brian K. Oh, so smooth. So smooth. Arthur W. So smooth. So smooth. Biggity bam. Wilberto S. Even an old dog can learn a new trick, right? Biggity bam. All right, that's that. The scan label would not print last night again. Will it print today? Yep. At least it printed now, or generated, I should say. It wouldn't generate last night. Biggity bam. All right. Pirate ship. All right, let's do some pirate ship. And then we got Posh. All right, let's zip this jacket up. We got, oh yeah, it's broken zipper. That's why I can't zip it up. Got Alton Redbird's jacket with a broken zipper. And it's going to Germany. Sold for $10. Sold it cheap because of the broken zipper. But it's weird, like Alton Redbird's right across the river, but yet the jacket's going to Germany. I love that kind of stuff. When my debit card got declined yesterday, I'm like, why? It's not a debit card, it's a credit card connected to the bank account, but it's separate. I'm like, why? What's going on here? And when I had to pay up front half of the Smoky Mountain cabin, so it was on there. So I was like at a limit, I guess. I guess there's a limit on the card. It was like $4,000. I'm like, ooh, I didn't know the card even had a limit on it. So, but I just transfer the money from one account to another, basically, is all you do. It's not even technically paying it. It's just transferring. So I never knew it had like a cutoff amount. All right, use jacket. Like, how dare you cut me off? Do you know how much money I got in your bank, and you cut me off with $4,000? Come on now. That was something I could never say before, right? Not from where I was from. All right, you need a code. It's kind of cool. I mean, compared to having nothing as a kid, now I feel rich, right? I mean, just because I don't have to worry, I don't have to do paycheck to paycheck. You know, I don't have to worry about bills being paid. And I am very thankful, not just to be in this position, but to have started out in the opposite position. Because I know not to take it for granted and to enjoy it, and it doesn't feel like a normal thing. Like if you're just born into having money and stuff and being rich or whatever, or just being comfortable, you could go down where I started it down, but also you can take for granted what you have so easily. I mean, just like something like us, me standing here, talking, using both arms and hands, you know, taking that for granted, even though there's people out there who can't do that or do one of the three things I just mentioned. So it's helped me not take anything in life ever for granted, because not only have I been there, I've seen it, lived around it, grew up with it, of just the body, you know, just the nothingness, I guess is a good way of putting it. And how some people are okay with that, but I wasn't. So the fact that, I don't know, I'm just thankful to be where I am, but more thankful that I started where I started. Got a Daytona USA, or International Raceway hat. Headed to France, sold for $14.40. So it feels kind of, and I say it obviously in jest when I go, all the money I got in bank and you're cutting me off on this card at $4,000. How dare you? You know, more of a joke, because like this shirt, there's a reason for this shirt. Well, first it was a gift from the ladies at 7-Eleven, because I used to go in there and buy Slurpees every day. So for my birthday one time, they gave me a package of stuff. But also, too, when I was a kid, this was the reward for working in the neighborhood, for taking out the neighbor's trash, for mowing people's lawns. When I was done, I got to walk to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee. So usually everything that I have or wear or am involved in has a deeper story than what it is. It's not just a thing. Yeah, it's just a shirt. At the end of the day, that's all it is too. But there's always a story or a meaning behind the stuff I wear. Like yesterday, I wore a Full Throttle Saloon Sturgis shirt. And I picked that up when my dad wanted to go to Mount Rushmore. So it was the last trip with my dad. And we stopped by Full Throttle Saloon since we were in the area. And I wanted to see it because they had moved to the new place, and he gets all those big, like, mechanical presses and stuff, and I like the way he decorates his bars. So I stopped in there and walked around, took a little tour, if you will, and of course I bought a shirt. So, like, everything I do has a meaning or a point to it, I guess you could say. A deeper meaning or a deeper point than just being shallow, just a shallow what it is type of thing. 1437. And I think that's where it all comes from. Like, I've always been appreciate the little things type of person, because that's all I had to start out with, was the little things. So the little things were the big things. So now, to me, something like the giving of something has more meaning than the something, if that makes sense. Like, to me, if you flew to Paris, bought $1,000 gift for me, it would actually have the same meaning as if you went to the thrift store and found something that you knew I would like. They both weigh the same in my eyes, because it's the thought process and the action that matters more than what the item is. And when you're when you're born into, like, money or something, or even being comfortable, you may not always see it that way. You know, it may be more about monetary than the art or the act of. So I'm very thankful that I'm able to see things in that kind of a light for what it really is. At least really is to me. All right. Next up, we got an item that I was probably attacked on about 3 or 4 times way back when I bought them in my videos. And I bought hundreds of those canceled Jazz Crew hats and clothing, t-shirts. And the one I remember the most is, you can admit to making a mistake. You made a mistake buying that crap. It's never going to sell. You're going to be stuck with it. But this is the kind of stuff that I love finding. I've probably got about 295 more of these in my store, but I probably sold about 7 or 8 of them at $10 to $15 a piece. This one sold for $15. So I made my money back on. The shirts, I've got hundreds of. I probably sold maybe 15 shirts even. Probably anywhere from $6 to $12, $15 even. And clearly made my money back pretty quick on it. Not quick, but maybe within the first 6 months. But this is the kind of stuff I like. It's just sitting there on a shelf. Hundreds and hundreds, and every once in a while I'll have a $10 bill or a $15 bill come in. And this is the kind of stuff that I've always kind of made sure I built my business around. having those long tail foundation, I always call them foundation items, because when you have plenty of items that you can sit on and you got room for like that, at any given day, you're going to make money off of them. So that's so $15 headed to Germany. And that's the cool thing too. This is a St. Louis company. They sail out of Miami, I think. And in COVID year, it was canceled. But this is going to Germany. So that's cool within itself. $14.98. Everybody needs a code. I don't make mistakes. You're just jealous that I found them and you did. Goofy stuff like that, which is probably not true, but still sounds good to me. Just being, oh, I got my Poshmark. Just being, let me do a printout here also. I just thought maybe that was me. Monday at 8. I got 2 to print out. Got paper. I still haven't went upstairs and found. I know we got a box of paper somewhere. Need to find it. What the hell's going on here? Why is it not printing now? It's supposed to pop up down here, but yet it's trying to pop up a new link and then closes. What is this? Something new. A new way of doing it, I guess. That's weird. And I got that one to print from last night. Now that one opened. Huh. Weird. But it opened differently than it used to. Okay. Whatever. Now for Posh, we've got a bucket hat. Collection NY brand bucket hat. And sold for $10. Head to Good Hope, Georgia. And that is odd. I do feel like I'm getting closer to me again, you know, so you're probably going to start seeing more goofy, hearing more goofy or smart ass stuff and having more fun, being more playful, whatever the case may be, being spontaneous, stupid, whatever you want to call it. Just because I can feel it coming back now. And I see it coming back. I catch myself doing those things again. So, and that alone makes me smile. I do sit and think. It does make me reflect on everything that's happened, say, in the past 7 years or so. Guess I have to go 8 years now. And just the mental struggle I've been through, or the journey, mental journey. I don't want to say struggle, even though at times it felt that way. But the mental journey, the ups and downs, the happy to take care of my father, but yet feeling so overwhelmed with it and so depressed about it, feeling my ultra low in life. Then Vern walked in my door. It turned it around. But I'm crying kind of happy tears here. I'm trying to make them happy tears because I'm trying to look at it as the mental journey of the last 8 years was amazing, yet defeating at times, yet almost poetic and beautiful at times. And just trying to acknowledge that now. I think that's almost like my final step to getting me back, is acknowledging how dramatic and drastic, how ultra low, yet ultra high it was. And looking back and going, wow, that was crazy. And kind of being able to walk away from it a better human being. That's my goal. That's what I feel like I'm headed toward. So these aren't sad tears today. They're just emotional tears. Thankful tears. Thankful for the opportunity and the time that I was allowed to be a part of the last 8 years. It's probably the most, I guess, dramatic parts of my life, the most emotional part of my life. On both ends of the spectrum. Happy and sad. And to be able to still stand here today and reflect on it is a gift within itself. Because there were times, there were days that I didn't want to live anymore. And I would sit there and even Google how to die peacefully. And wanted to so bad. Thankfully, I wasn't stupid enough to really go through with it, and I had a way to do it easily, especially with Jan with all her ailments. There's enough pills in the house probably to kill the entire Clydesdale horse that I could have, from the research I'd done, I could have easily, at any moment, just took everything I saw and just laid down and died peacefully. So to be standing here today, able to reflect and stuff is, like I said, just, I don't like using the word blessing. It's because blessing kind of indicates it was given to you. And I don't feel like this moment has been given to me. I feel like I was given the moment of the 8 years. But the moment to stand here now and reflect on it, I feel was all, not all, but let's just say mostly me, because I could have at any point made a wrong turn. And then the weird thing of how Vern just popped in my life at my lowest point. It almost felt like, when I look back on it, when I came up with this scenario about a month ago, maybe it's been a little over a month now, but where I said I was at my lowest point taking care of my father, and then the dog that my mother and I loved growing up comes into my life right when I needed a pickup. Almost felt like my mom sent Vern to me. And whether that is the thing or not, depending on what you believe and what your faith is and stuff, it's still a cool kick-ass thought to think, hey, there's a chance that could have happened. Probably not, but could all be coincidental. But there's a chance. And that chance, just thinking that chance alone is possible, is how I've always lived my life, because I've never wanted to be a person that said it is one way or another. Always keep an open mind about everything. If you want to believe in God, why don't you, don't just believe in a creator, but the creator could be nature itself. It could be aliens. It could be the story everybody wrote about in the Bible. It could be a mixture of all of them. So I've always kept an open mind about everything. So having that open mind, thinking, that's a possibility that could have happened. My mom could have sent me Vern when I needed the most. And then a year after my dad was gone, so was Vern. So, kind of a weird balance there. And that's what made me think of that scenario. It made me feel good. I guess that's all that matters with life daily, is finding those things that make you feel good. And try not to make them alcohol or drugs, right? Find those natural thoughts and things that just make you feel content or happy or complete, to help you move on to the next day. But with me, it's not just move on to the next day. It's to make sure I help somebody today in order to move on to the next day. I'm just talking. Sorry, I needed this moment. Obviously. Sorry for the long video. But it's cool to sit here and to think and break down the last 8 years. And to know that I'm still standing. And I still got a lot more in the tank. I just got to get back to me. So, all right. Motivation. Be me. All right. Okay, I think that's all. I think I got everything out. All right. That is all for now. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Likes, comments, the Giro Pack, the Vendoo affiliates. Totally appreciate everything. And later.